And welcome back to video number 15 of the RC aircraft design using Solidworks series. So last video we got the wingtip, lofting, and surfacing all done and figured out, and we also did this little exit duct as well. Towards the end I said I needed to do some reference drawings on here just to kind of figure out some things like where the control surfaces and all will go. So using my data that I have and just doing some sketches with some dimensioning off of those, I came up with this little sketch here on the outer wing panel where the pitch trimmer and the rudder bellows are, which is kind of a unique little surface. So this forward line here that you see that's now orange, this is actually the hinge center line for what they call a pitch trimmer, which is basically an elevator that only deflects for trimming in the pitch axis. And then this line here that you see now highlighted in orange, this was a second hinge setup that was hinged on both the top and the bottom that moved in conjunction with the pitch trimmer. And this is what they call the rudder bellows. From this point aft to the trailing edge, basically the pitch trimmer would open up like a clamshell, and that would be used for your rudder control as well as another surface or another control bucket on the bottom, and then there was one also up here on the top, which is more like a basically a clamshell that would open and close for enhancing the rudder control. And this whole duct thing out here was just a way for it to use airflow through this wingtip duct to help boost the rudder effectiveness at speed. It's kind of a unique surface that pretty much the XB35s and the YB49s, they all use a similar setup. They just didn't use this air boosted thing because I believe by then they were at size of an airplanes where hydraulically boosted surfaces were kind of becoming a thing, and they probably figured out cable surfaces they could afford a little bit more weight. So then this inner sketch here, we see we have the elevon, which is this hinge line here aft, and then we have the landing flap on the bottom surface only, and then the elevon is just typical elevator and aileron usage. There were no surfaces on the vertical stabilizer or the ventral fin. Those are just for stability. All your rudder control is out here at the wingtip. So with this sketch in particular, I figured out that our little ductwork here was pretty much perfect. It came basically up to this exact same point from what I can see on photos. Looking at the photos for the inlet duct, I decided to put a plane here first to work on. Looking at the photos, it was really difficult to tell if this was perpendicular to the airflow or if it was angled forward a little bit or whatnot. So the 1-3 view I have shows it just slightly forward swept in the opposite direction. So the outer tip portion of it would be further forward than the root area of it. But honestly, looking at it, I still can't tell. And I think it might just be kind of an optical illusion between what the leading edge looks like and then the entrance of that duct. To me, it almost looks more perpendicular to the airflow. So that's what I'm going to go with. So basically for this, we're going to do nearly the exact same thing that we did for the exit duct here. We're just going to kind of use the spline tool to draw an oval that hopefully looks about right, and then we will go from there. So for now, I'm going to hide these control surface sketches, and then on the front here, we're going to sketch that. And since we know it's going to be a boss extrusion, we're going to go ahead and select it. And then we're going to do a center line along. Actually, instead of doing that, what we will do is we'll convert this line as our center line. And then we can make it the center line and just pull it out. And now it is where it needs to be. And then we'll fix it so it doesn't move. Then we'll do another center line that will be perpendicular to that one. There's that. Click that line, hold the control, hit the other line, say perpendicular, and there we go. And now I know, looking by my photos, the inside portion of this is extremely close to the seam line. I'm going to say there's probably about an inch there. So just for reference, I'm going to throw another center line right here. That's also going to be perpendicular to this. And then I'm going to dimension that and say, hey, you know what? You're just an inch. Because there'll be some filleting that goes around all of this stuff too. So there we have that. And then we're going to come back up here to our spline tool. And we are going to start kind of splining some stuff around. That one, I think we're good. This, I'm going to make sure that this point is perpendicular with this line, or coincident with it. And then this here, I want it to be, I'm going to have it just slightly under this shape right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to convert that entity right there, and that's going to become a construction, and we're going to fix it so it doesn't move. And then I want this point to be just a tiny, tiny bit under, if it will give me the dimension that I want it to be. Let's try this. Nope. We'll try point there, and then that one can be coincident with it. There we go. Now let's try that way. There, that's what I wanted. I'm going to go with this, not like 3/4 of an inch. Let's go with 3/4. Looking at it, that's probably a bit too much. Let's go with half that. 3/8, still a bit too much. Again, I'm just looking at photos here to kind of get a good idea of what it looks like. And it's a pretty good, pretty nice, gentle sweep the whole way across. I think probably one more spline point. So we're going to click the spline, right click it. We're going to insert a spline point one right here. And then what I want to do is I want to try and get this a little bit more egg-shaped looking. Some of this is just kind of moving things around until you get that right shape that you're looking for. Which case, that's pretty close. That down and out just a little bit. And yeah, I think that's pretty dang close. Yeah, we'll go with that. So then we're going to just mirror this entity about that line. Looks pretty good. And then we're going to mirror both of these. But before I do that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take both of those tools, sketch tools, and see if we can combine them into one. It doesn't look like it. Nope, can't combine them. But we can do, see if we can simplify this one a little bit. Simplify it, smooth it, still says 4. We can do that, so try it. That changed the whole shape a whole lot that I didn't like. But kind of looking at the picture, it almost looks, let's see, let's undo that. Yeah, that changed it just enough to where it makes it look a little off. All right, so we'll just take both of these. We're going to mirror these about center line here. There's that. I think this I might change down just a little bit. This and that we want to be, I'll tell you what, let's undo all of this. It wasn't egg-shaped enough compared to my photo. It's amazing how just a little change can make a pretty drastic difference on what it looks. I wish I had the photo that I could show you guys, but oh well. All right, so we'll just go ahead and we'll mirror these once again about this. Oop, not that one. I want this one. Yeah, that looks much better. And there we go. Now what we can do is we can exit that sketch, and what will happen is it brings up our boss extrude for us automatically. And now we have this look right here. That looks pretty good, to be honest. So I'll go ahead and just finish that there. You can see it stuck out just a little bit here, so I'll come back in here, we'll edit that feature. In direction 2, I want it just a little bit, maybe 1/10 of an inch. It might be all we need. Yep, there we go. 1/10 of an inch, just that little bitty bit. And there we go. Now we have the inlet one. Looking at photos, which are very few and far between of that particular piece, I believe we're pretty close. Yeah, not quite. So looking at it from a different perspective, it's almost got kind of a, how this is flat, the actual one kind of curved up a little bit. So unfortunately, we're going to have to make things a little bit more difficult, and we're going to have to extrude this just ever so slightly. So do that. We're going to have to put another plane in here. So this plane here, we'll do another geometry, and we're going to put it 10 inches back. Yeah, I think that might be enough. So there's that one. We need to move it forward. That way we can use it. Copy that. And this will be point 2. Oop. There we go. We can hide that one. But now we're going to sketch on it. And then what we're going to do is we are going to copy. Oop, we're going to convert this sketch right there, so it shows up on a new one. Then we want to remove all of these relations, and I'll explain why momentarily. Then we're going to copy it all, and then we're going to fix it. Then we can exit. And now on this sketch 117, we're going to make this one just a little bit smaller. So in order to do that, we need to get rid of that and that. Drag it all. We don't need to scale this one. Then tools, sketch tools. We want to scale it around that point. I'm going to make it 90% of the size that it was. There we go. And then we can exit there. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to put another plane in here. That way we can put some guide curves in. So we got to find the outer wing top reference plane, which is here. Features, reference geometry plane. We want it perpendicular to that one, and then the second reference will be the center line here. I don't know why you're being difficult with me today. So second one, what I'm going to do is here, and then here. Still doesn't like it. All right, yep, that's what I want. I want that one. I'll put a plane in there. And then I want to be perpendicular to it. That point to this point. There we go. That point to that point. That way we know it goes from the center to there. All right. Then we can expand it just a little bit. We'll go hide this other one. There we go. And on this point, what we will do is we will sketch on this plane 4 some curves just to give us an idea of what it should look like. There's a top curve and a bottom curve. I'm going to make these equal. And then we're just going to put a dimension to it of 18 inches. That looks like a pretty good curve to me. Yep, I like it. See the top of the curve here? Just barely goes above the top of the wing. That's about what it looks like in the pictures. Same thing on the bottom. So we're good there. We can now hide that plane. And now on this point here, we can now sketch this one. We can do the same thing from here to there. Notice I'm making sure that the points intersect the points. Of our profiles. Otherwise, it gets kind of thrown off and it won't like it when we go to try and loft this. Same thing here. I'm going to say these are the same curve. And let's go with 40. Yep, that'll work. And one thing I might do is I think I might move this plane forward just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is come find the plane, click Edit Feature, and then right here, this coincident. Yeah, we'll just leave it how it is for now. We'll see how it looks when we do it. All right, now features, back to lofted boss base. Select our profile there, 1, profile 2, guide curves, select the curve, next curve, next curve, next curve. There we go. It's a little bulbous. Looks like in the pictures, and I like it. So there we go. And you see I didn't move the 1 point back far enough. So what we can do is we can just adjust this. We'll do 15 inches. And we'll see how it looks. Woo! Now our curves are all way off. Way off. So let's see here, 25. That's a bit too much still. Let's try 30, not 300. Nope. 45, yeah, let's do a little bit less than that. Let's do 42.5. I like that one. There's that, and bet you these side view ones. Yeah, actually, I like that too. But we definitely need to move that plane forward just a bit, don't we? Because it just doesn't quite look right. That's point 1. That's not what I want. I want point 2. That one. That's the one I wanted. Do offset distance. Get rid of you. All right, 207 it is. You see, for some of this stuff, it's just a matter of just kind of fiddling with it to make it work and look how you want it to. 1.3 inches. Yeah, we could probably move that one over a bit, couldn't we? So we'll come down here to sketch, edit it, and then what we can do is maybe just drag this whole thing. Nope. Undo that. And then, let's see, let's get rid of that one. A lot of this we don't need anymore. So we'll just take this whole thing. tools, sketch tools, and then we'll just move it over from here to there. And it definitely did not like that, did it? There's some weird relations going on here. Let's try and get rid of these mirrored ones to see if that works it a little bit better. There we go. Now it's saying the guide curves don't intersect. Imagine that. That's because this is no longer intersecting the curves. So what we have to do is now we can get rid of all of this stuff again. And you know what? Instead of messing with a good thing, let's just undo all of that. This is another reason why you save your work a good bit. That way you don't have to worry about things getting all weirded out on you. All right, you know what? I like that. So now what we want to do is I'm going to save it before I mess it all up again. And I am going to add a fillet around this point right here. So I'm going to select fillet. I'm going to select it. I don't want a variable radius. I just want a constant one. Do a 1/4 inch. Probably see a 1/2 inch will work. Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't do that. Yeah, I got some other things I want to do with that anyway later on, so we'll bypass the fillet for now. We'll get into that stuff here in just a bit. So I'll rename that feature so we know what it is. And there we go. Now we're basically here at the airplane. So next thing we want to do is we need to make it an entire airplane instead of it just having one wing. So now we can go back up here to the mirror feature. Mirror facer plane. We want to select the right plane, as that is what's cutting the airplane in half. And the bodies we want to mirror, not that one. We want to mirror that one and all of these features here. We're going to zoom in. And that should be everything. Yep, I think that's all. So we got a preview over here. Looks pretty good. Click the green arrow. And it won't let us create new bodies. So what we will have to do is try this again. We still want to mirror it about the right plane. Let's mirror all that. Merge a solid, knit any surfaces. There we go. Now I got a whole airplane. Now I got an entire XP56. An airplane that's starting to look like an airplane. And then we'll show the spinners that I did way early. And there we go. So at this point, we've got the majority of an airplane. There's still a few things to do. I need to adjust the wing fillet. There's a little section back here that just angles back a good bit. I need to do that. And then we need to do the fillets here along the wing root around this ductwork stuff. But those are going to be a little bit more complex because they're not just a simple fillet like I was going to. And then we also need to do the intercooler entrances here at the leading edge of the wing. So because we still have a decent amount of stuff to do, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll back this mirror. That way we don't have to worry about it. So for video 14, whatever this one is, I can't remember. We're going to go ahead and call that a job well done. And the next video, we'll work on getting these wing root entrance ducts drawn in and making it to where we can 3D print those instead of having to try and carve them out of balsa wood or whatever you may want to do them out of. So until next time, hope you all enjoyed, and we'll talk with you later.